Hello, this is Jared from Commit to Quality, and in this video I want to cover off assertions in a bit more depth. Playwright works with the whole concept of web-first assertions, which basically means they keep trying until the assertion is met or until your timeout is reached. Now there's a couple of assertion classes I want to talk about. The first is going to be page assertions, which is what we see in this second part here, where we say that the page assertion class provides assertion methods that can be used against the page property itself, which is what we're doing here, right? We're saying await, expect the page to have the title which contains commit quality, which it will have, because we go into commitquality.com. Now, if I just remove this a second, now do dot here, we also got the intelligence to tell us exactly what we can do with this expect. And because we pass in through the page property, what we're actually seeing is everything that can be called on this page assertion class. In this case, we'll keep it to have title of async. Now, let's just go to the documentation a moment. So you can see here in the .NET documentation on Playwright, you've got the page assertions, basically said what we've done, and it gives us a bunch of different information about it. Now, one thing I want to touch on is the arguments we can pass through as well. So you can see for the to have title async, which is what we just used, you can see that you have to pass through an argument of whatever it is, whether it's just a string or if you want to regex it, you can do either or because it sets it here. However, we also have the options object that we can set as well. So in this case, it'd be a new page assertions to have title options. Now, by default, if you watched my previous video on run settings, we have the expect timeout to be 5,000 milliseconds. And I think even if we didn't have this set, the default would be 5,000 milliseconds. So for example, if I say commit qualities, which obviously is going to fail, if I just execute this test a moment, just want to let it fail. We can see it sitting on the page because it's a web-first assertion like we talked about. If we scroll down here, you can see the timeout is 5,000 milliseconds, which is our default one. But what if I said, okay, I want this to be maybe less or maybe more, just a different timeout value? Well, we can do that by overriding these options. And every web-first assertion allows you to do this as well, whether it's a page assertion or a located assertion. What we can say is new page assertions to have title options. And then inside here, we can state what we want. So we can say timeout, and we'll set that to be 2,000. So it'll time out after 2,000 seconds, after 2 seconds, or 2,000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds, rather than the 5. So if I hit run on here now, what we should see is this will still fail because, of course, commit qualities is not in the title. But it failed a lot quicker, and you can see now that this actually timed out after 2 milliseconds. This hasn't impacted any other assertion though, so the assertion down here won't be impacted. So let's take this off, and what we'll do is we'll just make this fail for a moment before we touch on what this assertion's doing. But what you're going to see is this one will pass now, but this one will still be set to 5 seconds because we haven't overrode anything in the options of this one. So you can see it sat a little bit longer, and you can see now it's failed because obviously the text isn't correct because we added 21 instead of 2, but it's also defaulted back to that 5,000. So it's only scoped to the action we are doing on each one of those. If you want to change the global value, of course, you can come in here and change the expect time right here, and you can increase it or decrease it, but I think 5 seconds is actually a good base level to have. Now then, we touched on kind of the web-first assertions for pages, but we can also do it for locators. So the exact same kind of code, we're saying await, expect, but now instead of just passing through the page object, we're passing through a locator, which we've defined here on line 18. And in this case, what we've done is we've gone to commitquality.com. So let's open this in a web page. And we've said, go to this data test ID, which is name. So if I actually inspect this, let's follow it all the way through. If I inspect this, we've got a data test ID of name, and I've said get me the first attribute because, of course, if I was to just get all of them, it's going to give me the data test ID for all the rows in this table. So I've said get it by data test ID of name and return the first one. And what I've said then is inside expect, instead of just passing through the page, I'm actually passing through the locator. So we can do it this way, or we could define it directly inside. So we could say page dot get by test ID name dot first, close it off, and now we'll do exactly the same, but we've just stored it into a variable up here. But now what we can do is we can make use of the locator assertions, which have a bit more than the page, as you can imagine. So we can say get the text, we can see have a bunch of different things. So once again, I can just do the IntelliSense. You can see you've got it to have class, to have count, to have attributes. You can kind of look through it to be checked, to be disabled, a bunch of things you can do on that. And once again, you can go to the documentation if you want to, go to locators assertion. I'll put this all in the description as well. You can scroll down, you can see all the different web first assertions you can make. But once again, you can see you've got a bunch of attributes, a bunch of arguments you can pass through. So you've got your default ones, but then you also have arguments. So for timeout, check is it editable or not? Loads of different things. So it's definitely worth looking into this just to see exactly what you can do with each method call. Once again, if I wanted to change the timeout on this, I could do so by passing through a new locators assertion to have text options. This is different, as you can see, different class. And the reason I can see this is because as I'm hovered over and typing, you can see that you've got your expected string, which is what we've passed through here. But it's also telling us if we want to change the options, we can create a new class of this and do exactly the same, which is locator assertions to have text options. And then I can say bracket, squiggly brackets, then you could pick whatever one you wanted. So in our case, we could say timeout and set that to 2 seconds as well. Oh, that needs to be an equals. Timeout equals 2000. Now, if I was to run it, we're going to see similar to what we did before, but instead of 5 seconds, you've guessed it, it's going to time out after that 2 seconds, which you can see here. What I do also want to show is the actual assertion method. So I'm really glad that this actually failed, because what you can see is exactly what we are looking for here. The actual method is, the message itself says, locator expected to have the text of product 21. However, it was product 2. You can see the call log as well, so you can see that retriability happening directly in the call log. So it's tried it once, it was product 2. Okay, it didn't just immediately fail. It said, I'm a web first assertion. I'm going to keep retrying until the timeout is reached of 2 seconds, or until I see the text of the text of this table row is actually product 21. So once again, it's repeated it and it's found the value of product 2, and of course it stays product 2, it never changes, so it just keeps repeating it and keeps trying to succeed. When it doesn't, it fails after those 2 seconds. It's really useful to show these error messages because Playwright seem like they put a lot of time in to make it as simple as possible to show us exactly where and why something has failed, but also shows us the logs of how many times it's trying to get something as well. I think it's really neat. It was one of those things when I moved over to Playwright from kind of the traditional Selenium, I just thought this is amazing. This is exactly what we want. I used to have to create my own kind of polling counters to sort all of these. Now, before we sign it off, I also want to show how you can kind of negate these as well. So at the moment, this is failing because we're expecting that this first row name locator has the text of 21. But what if I said I want to check that it doesn't have the text of 21? Well, we can do that using the not property. So we can just say not dot, and this will then negate anything we've put in. So in this case, it'll be as long as it doesn't have the product of 21 in there, it's going to succeed. So let's hit run on this. And there we are. This is passed now, and all is good because we've said not to have the text title. And once again, you could do it for here to make it fail. Oh, put the dot there. So we can say not to have title, which it does have the title of commit quality. So once I hit run, you can see here we expected page title not to be commit quality, but of course it was commit quality, and it actually includes a bit more of test automation demo. And once again, you can see that page assertion retry it. I definitely say have a play around with this, have a see of what you can and can't do. The C# web first versions are not maybe as rich as what you'd expect in the Playwright Node.js versions, but still extremely better than a lot of kind of C# test automation frameworks out there. It is also an API response assertions class, but I'm not going to actually cover that in this video. I did want to mention it, but those assertions are specifically used for API tests, which we'll be covering off in future videos. As always, if you do have any questions or comments, please drop them down below. A like and subscribe is appreciated. Thanks for watching and have a good day.